So now is the time to make sure your marketing efforts, your business goals are right-sized and right for you.
This is The Briefcase from Sutherland, Weston Marketing Communications. Quick conversations from everyday observations, delivering practical marketing ideas you can carry with you.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Sutherland, President and CEO at Sutherland Weston.
I am Dan Cashman, Director of Public Relations at Sutherland Weston.
Shelley Sund, Vice President, Director of Client Relations at Sutherland Weston.
If we've heard anything from businesses, they say they can do what they do if they have certainty. But right now, there's not a lot of certainty, Elizabeth.
I know, right? It's kind of scary. And we're in a moment where a lot of business owners are asking, what should I be doing right now for my business? What should I be doing with my marketing? Should I hire? Should I not? It's a scary moment in time.
Dan, if there's one thing they should know is that they are not alone.
That's true. Everybody's in this together. And if you are one of those people, and I suspect you are, if you're feeling stuck, uncertain, or like you need to wait it out, there's a lot of good information forthcoming.
Shelley, I remember 5 years ago, COVID had some of us feeling this way.
We've seen this before, 2008, COVID, post-COVID, and one truth remains. How you show up now shapes what happens next.
So true, Shelley. So true.
Let's talk about what people should do and what people shouldn't do. And Elizabeth, I know that you're going to tell us the first thing not to do is panic.
Right. You don't want to panic, but you do want to get practical. Right now is the time to be level-headed because this kind of economic turbulence doesn't mean retreat. It doesn't mean retrenching. It means it's time to recalibrate.
Now, at the same time, you can't stop what you're doing in the way of reaching out to customers and clients, Dan.
Now, there's countless examples of businesses who stayed afloat because they continued marketing. It might have looked a little bit differently, but they kept going.
Not just afloat, but they thrived.
They did thrive. Yeah. Post Cereal is a good example during a recession many years ago. Marketing, it's not a light switch that you turn off. It's a dimmer.
I like that.
I could go silent, Shelley, but if I go silent and my competition doesn't go silent.
So staying silent gives competitors space. Staying strategic helps you stay strong.
Nice line.
So the businesses that focus, those are the ones that are going to win, Elizabeth?
Yeah. If you simplify, perhaps invest wisely, choose carefully, those are the businesses that can survive an uncertain future or a turbulent time without a ton of risk.
As Washington tries to level set trade expectations, let's talk about being level-headed and what we're supposed to do with our businesses and how we can help businesses. Dan, I'm going to start with you.
I've heard it a million times with regards to construction, measure twice, cut once. And I think that can apply here. Don't cut blindly, cut smart.
Shelley, I know we already have customers, and if we can keep serving the ones we have, that might go a long way.
So double down on the customers you already have. Retention is cheaper than acquisition. Send the email, make the call, and show you care, really.
Just to add on to that, new customers aren't always as important as keeping the current customers that you have. If you're worried about an uncertain economy or a turbulent future, at least in the short term, then maybe this spring and summer, it's time to create that loyalty program that's been sitting in your back burner. You know, if you have a $15,000 radio budget, it might make a lot of sense to spend that if you're doing customer acquisition. But if you're looking to retain the current customers that you have, maybe you cut that budget in half and use half of that budget to create a loyalty program with some strategic rewards that invest in the customers that you already have.
Dan, we've talked a lot about being helpful to clients and helping them through a time like this. This is a chance to shine.
We mentioned years past when we've seen this type of thing before, and we have seen businesses and organizations not just be visible, but to put some real thought and effort into being helpful with that visibility. We're entering that time where that is doubly important to double down on that effort now.
I think I'm going to go back to something Elizabeth said just a moment ago in the example of the radio budget. If it's going to be trimmed, if we're going to be talking loyalty, I think, Shelley, we need to make sure we're saying the right things to our customers.
Yes.
Saying the right things to our clients.
Yes. We need to audit your message for the moment, really.
Yep.
Is what you're saying still relevant? If you're feeling anxious about the economy, you can bet your customers are too. It's okay to address the elephant in the room. Just don't be Chicken Little and insist that the sky is falling. For example, Ford's Built to Lend a Hand campaign.
Oh, yeah, that was a great one.
I think it was like March 2020, maybe.
Yep.
Remind me of that. What happened in that campaign?
So you remember for years, the Ford slogan has been built Ford tough.
Tough guy.
Oh, I like the way you put on the big voice there.
Thank you.
The swagger in the background. Built Ford tough.
You're much
nice.
better at it than Brian, I know.
But they pivoted. They changed.
They did. They pivoted in COVID really early on. They were one of the first national brands to sort of be able to be nimble and to leverage their relationship and their brand.
They certainly did something right.
They didn't shy away from that elephant in the room. They tackled it head on. They opened the ad by acknowledging the uncertainty. Right now, the days seem to blend together.
Oh, and didn't they? March of 2020. Right?
March of 2020,
I think it was
right?
all one day in my
It probably was.
They emphasized action, not anxiety. They took the anxiety out of the message. They highlighted payment relief programs and support for customers in financial trouble. And then they tapped into that brand heritage without being tone deaf.
Yeah.
They built on the brand that everybody knew and loved before March of 2020 regarding Ford. They didn't act like nothing was happening, but they connected that brand DNA to the moment's emotional and financial needs that we were experiencing.
And so their new brand message, instead of built Ford tough, was built to lend a hand. It still got at that reliability and that strength, but in a slightly different way.
It was an incredible pivot.
In times like this, someone says, well, we need to do something. Here is a situation where Ford did something.
Right. And they did it without pretending to be like a public health expert, right? They didn't make themselves the experts on COVID or Corona, as we were calling it in March of 2020. And they didn't necessarily push a panic narrative either. But what they did do was they acknowledged that for the moment, it was a little bit wonky and that empathy was the name of the game. And they repositioned themselves in a way that felt human and genuine and authentic.
And I don't know if they led the way, but it certainly feels like they did.
Mm-hmm.
They leaned into doing this. They did it in a way that was front and center. They did it quick, but they clearly thought about it. And as we're looking back on that 5 years later, this is the top of mind campaign
Yep.
Yeah.
that sticks out at us.
Yep.
And it was a great lesson for the client too. I mean, sometimes the strongest thing your brand can do is just pause the pitch and offer a hand. And you don't need a national crisis to do it, just a little emotional intelligence.
If I'm a business owner and I make widgets, I'm going to be looking at the competition, those that also make widgets, and I'm going to see what they're doing. And I'm going to probably think I should be doing that. I'm going to jump on whatever their plan is. Good idea, bad idea?
Kind of so this is a twofold kind of answer for me. And Rick, I know you're going to be surprised that I say this because I often say that sometimes your best research is looking at the brands around you and what they're doing. But at this particular moment, I think what's really important for companies to understand and for the leaders who run those companies to sort of recognize and internalize is that now is the time to develop your plan, not the plan. So now is the time to make sure your marketing efforts, your business goals are right-sized and right for you.
No, we're just scratching the surface on this. There's a whole lot more to explore. There's a lot to explain. There's a lot to experience.
If that's you, if you're nodding your head right now and thinking this is me, then you're in luck. Next Tuesday, April 15th, we have a free online lunch and learn to talk about these very issues.
It's at lunchtime, but there's not necessarily lunch provided, right?
BYOL. Yeah, we're not sending you lunch.
And it's at noon, right?
It's at noon.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're calling it 10 marketing tips for navigating turbulent economies.
We're going to offer some quick tips that can help just about any business. And then we're going to open it up for a question and answer period. So folks can get their specific questions asked. We're going to have our team of senior advisors there, and we'll be able to provide some insight and maybe some worksheets, some things that can be helpful.
Okay, between now and Tuesday, April 15th at noontime for this lunch and learn. Again, 10 marketing tips for navigating turbulent economies. Dan, what should we do?
One of my favorite expressions is you don't need to be right, just be smart. And in this case, adapting that, you don't need to be perfect. Just stay present, stay smart, and keep moving forward.
Yeah, and I want people to know that we're here to help, and we would love to have folks join us at the Lunch and Learn on Tuesday, April 15th at noon, so that we can help navigate what is a fairly uncertain and definitely turbulent period as seamlessly as possible.
Where does someone go to sign up?
You can sign up right now at sutherlandweston.com.
You have been listening to The Briefcase from Sutherland Weston Marketing Communications. Got a question for the Sutherland Weston team? Email us at sutherlandweston.com.